Vote for the next Xrd mini-main now in the description. What's up, it's your favorite crayon eater, Lucy Booty Nasty, here to talk about Raven and just how cool his design and gameplay is. I mean, it's crazy how he's stuck on the 360 since 2008, and then he finally came to Windows. Oh, we're not talking about Overture? What other Raven is there? Cool voice actor, whack game, child, no. Safe to watch later. In Xrd? No, I have like 2,000 hours in the game. There's no way I would... My BFF Sean's been playing him? That can't be right. He plays small children like May and Platinum. I've been gaslit? There's gameplay of him and me on my channel and right behind me right now? This bit has gone on too long? Can't be right. There's footage of him in top 8 in CEO 2024? Fine, we'll do Raven, specifically Xrd, but it's not like I hate him. I've just been putting off the whole peer-reviewed study on the Raven brain, as you can see here, affecting the players around the Xrd globe. To put it simply, he has a unique meter to manage, a parry, a command grab, 2 of them, a lockdown mix, and he can fly, as evidenced from my intro. But most of all, he lures you in with his silly faces and silly noises that he makes, and I just can't tell what his character is all about. He seems to like Faust Super, but I mean, so does Eno, and maybe he just really likes his health checked, and hey, I encourage you at home to have an individual that you trust check you as well. I'm not a doctor though, but why would someone hurt themselves and make that kind of noise? Jesus Christ. It sounds like he might be in pain, but this one... Alright, full disclaimer, this one just reminds me of the Markiplier E-meme. The very back corner of my head. The Markiplier meme?
Yeah. You're stupid, bro. Yeah, keep laughing. God, why are you like this? Why are you like this?
If you're too young to get that, unsubscribe. Just kidding. Like and subscribe. I'm sorry. Please come back. I love you. I love you. Oh, shit. Oh. It's almost like he enjoys pain? Nah, there's no word for that. I think he just wants his opponent to have that sense of accomplishment for hitting him. Yeah, and we'll call it Ravikism. Patent pending. Therefore, I'll break Ravikism down into three things. Pain, spaghetti, and a blender. I'm sure we'll uncover the truth of Raven Brain if we figure out those 3 and maybe a secret 4th thing. If only there was a way to measure Raven's Ravikism in game and just see how excited he is without seeing how tight his pants are. Oh, thank God. And those pants were looking really tight. Excitement gauge is core to Raven as his game plans change based on what level he's at and how many ticks he has. There are 3 main levels of excitement, and depending on the excitement level, move properties change, like having a faster scratch, comboing off of your command grab, more orb hits, and straight up more damage. So from 0 ticks to 10 ticks, you have a 30% damage boost, which is just insane, but you do have to earn them via the aforementioned scratching, command grabbing, using this super, or the parry. Oh, right, the parry. Let's start with figuring out Ravikism number 1 in Pain, which, of course, the main mission, seeing his enemies win, well, not win, but like hitting him without him dying. You see, Raven is immortal, so he just likes to take hits to the face and just shrug it off. Call it his stance or his parry, but he calls it, "Give it to me here." Guess he knows where he likes it. I mean, where the opponent likes it, not him, of course. It's basically hyper armor for as long as you hold it, and it deals purple or potential health, as I like to call it, that will heal over time if you let it. Holding stance on its own gives 1 tick of excitement about every second or so, and each hit absorb gives you 3 ticks towards your excitement, so 2 hits and you're already at max level with your kit unlocked. So more ticks past that just give you more damage. So it does have 5 frames of startup, so make sure you have a big enough gap to start the parry.
What? Oh, I did too early?
Especially in lazy Yoki situations like this. You can cancel normals into the stance, but it's not like it's going to give you frame advantage like Johnny Mistfinder or rebuy your pressure really. At best, canceling normals into it will maybe bait them into hitting your parry, or you'll just get 1 tick for holding it at best, so, you know, don't count on it. Ah, screw it. Use it on their wake up if you know they're going to mash or DP. Just get those ticks while you can. Raven still wants you to hit him with that burst, so feel free to eat it mid-combo since you can cancel into parry from those normals as I mentioned. Good use of it, at least there. They don't get part of their burst back if they hit you with it, but if it is a gold burst, they still do get a full stick of butter. Parry is kind of treated like as if you were blocking it for every other case, so things like Faust Poison won't actually poison you. Bonus for DPs, by the way, they cannot Roman cancel when you parry them, no matter how many red X's of Shin that they have. It doesn't treat it as if you blocked the DP, but as if it whiffed entirely. So how do you counterattack them after they get their licks in and you get your ticks in? The recovery on parry is not terrible, so you can just kind of let the button go and reasonably react. Plus you have some armor after you release K to cover you, but not the last 4 frames, and it's counter hit recovery, so don't get The risk and reward is that if you time it right, you can punish move that you otherwise couldn't. See, parry has no hit stop for Raven, so things like Fafnir, which are normally very plus on block, are punishable because they get all the hit stop, not you. Especially great if you instant block Gunflame, because you know they're going to do it there. Or you could just Y or C, but that costs meter. Meter is money. Saving that money is great, but sometimes you gotta spend it. So holding stance in neutral before a tick is actually generated will let you Y or C. If a tick does generate, then that's an extra 25 cents for a PRC. Except here, which made me PRC even though I didn't generate a tick, and here where I definitely generated a tick and was still able to Y or C. If someone could comment and tell me why, I mean, you know, it's cool, but just don't worry about it too much. Just focus on the fact that if you absorb a hit, you are guaranteed a Y or C at any point after that. Again, learning to use it within a gap or just to get past projectiles is great, but even blitzes don't stand a chance against your Stonewall man titties. I tend to go for a knockdown post-parry to start Oki, or route into something that will give me ticks. Plus, you tend to get counter hit confirmed since they are mid-attack after all, so 6P command grab is the best by far. Just make sure there are actual gaps, and so YRC does have startup that you can get counter hit out of as well. Good to know. One caveat is that YRC is not only your friend. You see, YRC plays both sides, so it always comes out on top.
Oh, I did it too early. Oh no! I just killed him too! Well, the potential health. Holy shit. This game is sick.
If they know this, you'll both be racing to hit that spin 25 meter button. But if they don't, you're free to do as you like, or skinny shiro, as they say. He says it. There is another way to get out of Parry Stance, but we'll get to that stab fest a little later. In case they want to stab you instead, yeah, parry works on supers also, and usually enough time to punish afterwards as well.
I fucking knew it. Oh,
that is, if you can remember which side Chip finishes on after he's done with his super, because I literally can never remember. It's fun if you catch the reversal, because they're usually at your mercy with way more excitement in your pocket, and in Venom's case here, a full stick of butter to run straight at him with. Parry is not perfect, however, since the saboteur to the Stonewall stances, sensual smacks on So's lips, I mean throw. Sorry, I forgot I had this tab open. But sadly, even in the middle of taking an attack, you can be thrown. What? You can see the little dude here hitting me right before I was put in the iron ball torture device, which I definitely knew but just forgot about, since when I mained Eno, I would always do note Oki and would throw them all the time because they would always parry it. When it comes to unblockables, the ones that cause the standing stagger on block, like Leo's stance one and the Bakusai misfire with Johnny, those will be absorbed. But the true unblockables, like Faust command grab and Slayer's undertow and slide head, will beat it. Because those unblockables are its only weakness. I mean, Raven is like Frieza tanking the Spirit Bomb, and he lived, right? He was fine, right? Well, I mean, he did survive in the show, but at least afterwards it kind of went like this. And the guy with the sword does have the same voice actor, so it kind of works out. So clearly the purple health can regenerate, but it takes about 3 whole seconds, and if you get hit anywhere in between that, all of that is gone. And the first hit that starts it will start where that purple health ended, if that makes sense. So it's not starting at that purple health, it's starting at the yellow health.
Oh, that's bad. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Multi-hit moves give the most benefit to your tension and excitement meter, but not your health meter if hit. While Raven does have the best guts, he does actually have them update after a string of hits ends when he's in Parry Stance.
No! Oh my god, the hell.
So a super that does multi-hits like this initially does a crap ton of damage, where if you kind of let it end and then go for another one, you see it does less damage here. So it updates after a string of hits in Parry Stance. Even with the highest guts in the game, he might be able to absorb some supers, but large burst damage attacks are not wise to skate by on. Also, keeping your excitement going can be kind of tough, since if you go about 10 seconds without getting any kind of excitement ticks, you will start to drain. This is something to keep in the back of your mind, since you want to... God damn it. You want to keep all that excitement that you built up, so periodically going into stance if they're just kind of denying you any other methods of gaining ticks is a good idea. Luckily those 10 seconds won't count when you're in hit stun, so if you're getting hit, you have a bit more time than you think compared to if you're just kind of poking them on block and being in neutral the whole time. Besides random strings, look out for those multi-hitting moves in neutral and you'll be as golden as a shower. And definitely look out for Ground Viper. Tutorial literally has you do it in his combo trials and it feels as good as it sounds here. Definitely play around with stance. It affects all of his moves going forward, his damage, his defense, and everything, so make sure it's a huge part of your kit. Redid the chopsticks because it was facing backwards and actually taped it to the hood this time. Fun fact, stance attacks doesn't add any stun value. Why would I bring this up? Because it's great news since Raven has some of the worst stun resistance in the game, towards the bottom here.
Oh no!
Yeah, stun isn't the most fun and interactive mechanic, but it does teach you that getting counter hit has more consequences than just normally exploding. Yeah, I've done this to a certain Raven many times, but you dropped it. All right, this is where I make my you say run kind of comeback, you know, where I go all the way into. It's a hero burst for a reason. So you really need to land your parries or risk getting stunned and probably losing the round, so try not to mash. It's okay, it's too much, I know. I'm with you, I'm on your side. But the real problem with Xrd is that there is no stun meter or even an indicator like +R's flashing portraits, so you can go a little while, forgot you got counter hit last weekend, and then still end up getting stunned when you least expect it.
Why am I stunned again? Son of a bitch.
And Pod is the biggest offender here since he already hits hard, has the best punish of it being a grab, which is the worst fear of any parry user. Don't even get me started on Gigantor Shield.
Really? Alright.
Usually a meme I just 6p and forget about, but the fear of the insta-stun is real.
Oh, that's no good.
Even if it's mid-combo.
I'm dead. Oh, come on, man. God damn it.
So just get your mashing fingers all nice and limbered up when you feel it coming, so that way you can wake up and hopefully survive another interaction. Pre-mashing is always encouraged. And survive you should, as Raven has the best guts in the game. There's a joke there, but it's not worth it. This means the lower the health gets, the higher your defense modifier is, leading to him surviving more than you would expect. Sometimes. Just keep it in mind, and remember, it's not over yet. You know, his willingness to survive and even come back to life to keep fighting makes me think he likes pain? Ravikism is just masochism? Alright, we crossed off the first thing on the list. That's easy. Look, we're making progress, really getting into the core of Raven Brain. Let's move forward, just like in a dashing way, like a forward dash is an advancing run that actually has invincibility and can go right through some attacks if timed right. Great for projectiles with predictable or slow approaches to weave right around. But projectiles are small time. We want the risk of the sweet, sweet pain. We like pain now, so why not dash right in their face, graze their meaty limbs, and get... Alright, too masochistic, I get it. Point is, you can make them whiff and just immediately counterattack for cool shit like this.
Oh, that was sick. Get
Gelfeld. Say it again. Gelfeld. Think of it like an extension of parry, but also like a longer startup of Slayer's forward dash. But you can't phase through enemies, and the actual invincibility does take about 10 frames to actually start up. Meanwhile, you have one of the slowest initial dashes in the game. Luckily, by the time you come out of your Houdini act, you have one of the fastest dashes in the game, sometimes causing you to overshoot, so FD break when you need to.
Oh my god, fast.
Using that speed, you can get right underneath them, go for an attack, or just sneak out of the corner. Just get the timing down, avoid predictable Oki, large buttons, gaps and block strings, or just run at them round start and hope it works out.
That was sick.
Buttons has joined the Xbox Live party, so let's see if we can't figure out number 2 on this list, Spaghetti. Now I wonder why it's called... Real question, Angel Hair or Linguini? 5P is your 7 frame poke that is a near uncontestable round start, since this move is almost fully disjointed. Now you know why I was fearlessly poking this tiger for as many times as he has swords. Because let me tell you, that 4 tiger sword hurts if you poke it with the wrong button. Even the ground buttons aren't disjointed nor safe from Slayer 6P, so 5P being decently fast and this safe is incredible. There are faster mash and Abari options, but 5P is a decent panic anti-air and preemptive stuffing tool. That preemptive stuffing can be used against Pineberry too. Pro tip, just beware disjointed doesn't mean your body isn't vulnerable, because pot flick is huge. See how my fingers were pot fingers there? like and subscribe. As the most basic of buttons, 5P has good gatlings it confirms, 5P into 2D, and confirming from JP into // for a kill is great for such a long button. And besides the usual panic anti-airs you may get with 5P, like the air combo here, you can also do counter hit 5P into the air command grab, like all other grounded normals. This also works, but from 5P of all buttons. Some would say 5P is a starter button. This is no starter button. This is a finisher button. A button for mashers. The Lucid masher. I am disjointed and my range knows no bounds. Anyway, you saw 5P and another button used in that last clip to gatling to and from for added pressure and speed, and that's 2P. Nothing stupendous here, your second fastest button to mash or pressure with, but hey, it also goes into command air grab from counter hit, but spoilers, all of the buttons can do that on counter hit, so 2P ain't special, but it does exist, which is something you can't say about Raven's regard for his own safety. The more important existence is the actual fastest button in your arsenal that you will use in a pinch, and they'll get you right back to hitting your long buttons, I promise. So yeah, when in pressure, even 5P can be a little too slow and you don't need that range here, so use 4P, a 5-frame button. 4P can chain into itself or other buttons to push them off or straight up get a decent confirm after it. Chaining into itself has two different animations, but they're basically identical and honestly have good range themselves for a 5-frame move, and it's only -1, so throw it out whenever, especially in dangerous times. Start with 4P, which I do here, but you can barely see it due to the what I would like to call the precursor to Strive's counter text on the screen. While you do have other mash-worthy buttons with more reward like 5H, 4P is the fastest and safest way to confirm in between their block strings. And due to its speed and recovery, it's a good burst check before punishing them and setting up for your own little nasty spin cycle Oki. And let's just say you mistime your spin cycle Oki, well 5K might just have your back. It's 2 frames slower than 4P, but twice as active and has a very tall hitbox, making accidental anti-airs a welcome surprise. Also, it kind of reminds you of the torture dance, like this frame here, so have fun dancing on your zipped up heads that you're torturing. The hitbox has a little bit of a disjoint to it without any kind of dead zones, so it's great as a dash-in normal. Paired with your knowledge of the invincible forward dash we talked about, even pot cheeks don't stand a chance. You should just run up to them and be prepared to air scoop them, since even if they try to stall in the air, you might just hit them anyway. Some may call it spamming, but I call it calculated low recovery execution. And you should too. Right, calculated. Hitting backwards there, of course. Planned. Though it's not perfect and can trade sometimes, it's very rare that it'll let you down.
Aww.
Rare. I didn't say impossible. 2K and 2D. Name a better power couple. Maybe like Soul and Raven if you read the book that I was reading. To have mix, you must have a low, and Raven sure does have one. 2K is your fastest option, of course. Easy to combo or get a knockdown from, and imperative to your glide cancel mix. Small bonuses like it has no extended hurt box before it's active, meaning it'll beat those who have extended hurt boxes before their startup frames. Plus, you can low profile vapor thrust with it, so that's pretty neat. What do you do when you want your opponent to eat dirt while you... God damn it, that's gonna be annoying. Is that actually making a lot of noise? So what do you do when you want your opponent to eat dirt while you set up just to sweep them and do it all over again? Canceling into orb lets you do some funky mix, even if it's not meaty since most will crouch into the orb. But if they stand or you jump over them, they kinda have to take it. Sometimes you don't even have to take it, as 2D is pretty prone to low profiling a lot of things, including bursts.
Oh, hell yeah.
You kind of pull your leg back as soon as you throw it out, so you can be safe from a lot of pokes or reversals like this. Weird interactions like Faust Drill and my 2D whiffing aren't uncommon. Plus, did you know Mega Fist was low in vuln when it hits the ground still? I didn't. Anyway, the pop-up on it can actually synergize well with orbs since they fly right into it, even letting you combo into air command grab if you commit to it. You can do sweep into scratch for some excitement ticks for a knockdown, but to prevent it from not comboing, you do have to follow this funny little chart here. At level 1, only scratch lightweights. Level 2, now you can do midweights. Level 3, everyone. And counter hit, all of the above. Get it? Got it? Good. So as a Slayer enjoyer, 6P is part of my DNA, and this one does not spark joy as much as Slayer's. Honestly, it's more of a combo tool to bounce between close slash with for extended ground sequences. And yeah, it does hit pretty high and is disjointed, so it can be used as an anti-air. This clip is perfect because it shows its use as a disjoint, but then I immediately choose 5K as the anti-air after. This section's like a close slash 6P combo. Just be ready for that. Look, it can work, and close slash can sometimes connect. We'll get to that. It may look like it can hit behind him, but I assure you it does not.
Oh, brother, this guy.
It has a terrible 27 frames of recovery on whiff and a measly three active frames. So whiff it and die, and you may not even hit what you were trying to swing for. Yeah, sadly, this Ryujin I didn't hit.
What?
But there's success later. Don't worry, the tradition isn't broken. I think I have a clip. Make sure there's a clip. Put it in here now. Fuck it, put it in now. Plus, you can't even use it to beat certain projectiles like other 6Ps might. And we will get into how this is your main way to combo immediately into the anti-air command grab later, if you can hit it, of course. The main problem, honestly, is that this 6P cannot be jump canceled on its own. So you have to go into close slash or far slash, and that's your only two options. And close slash isn't exactly reliable. Okay, so close slash has 2 hits. You'll rarely see both of them in an air combo pickup, and sometimes you might not even see it in a grounded combo. Just a single tap of FD, and if you hit close slash, you better hope you mash far slash, because if you didn't, you'll probably whiff. So just be careful on the ground, but as I mentioned, your anti-air game also suffers from this exact problem. The second hitbox is supposed to be bigger to prevent FD and push out and stuff, but it doesn't really help here. I get that I'm out of range, and even far slash wouldn't connect on all these guys. But you have no other option after 6P, besides hope and pray that it's counter hit and go into command grab, because if not, even if you do get that counter hit sometimes, it doesn't.
No, what the f?
Alright, using close slash after 6P. I suggest just rising JP as an anti-air for now. Okay. Sorry, I've been pretty negative about 6P here, but it's kind of my thing. And since both moves are basically anti-airs, one being anti-air in the floor, one not even be able to anti the air, kind of pains me. Well, this is how I felt before I learned and experimented a little bit when doing the orb unblockable stuff, which we'll get at in like 40 minutes, whatever time code that was. One good thing about anti-airing 6P is that if you Roman cancel it and they're at the right height, you get a actual guaranteed command grab from here. We'll get to it, but it's an unblockable, so if they're in hit stun via the orb or anything else, they're getting grabbed. They can't even blitz it since they're in block stun still from the 6P, so it's actually one good thing about 6P with Raven. Amazing. I told you this is a weird close slash 6P section. They're basically like used in conjunction here. But all right, so show me one good thing that close slash can do now. Whiffing, but it actually worked out this time? I'll take it. Yeah, so being a 2-hit normal, it gets the discount Venom close slash effect where people really like to burst this move. Jump canceling either hit as late as you want, and chances are you'll probably forget how bad close slash in the air actually is. Other bright sides to look at are the fact that close slash will unconditionally combo into 2H on the ground, which always leads to a scratch and therefore excitement. This weird backward hit happened once, so that's kind of funny. And, oh hey, this move is your only plus move, by the way, at +2. So feel free to mix in a jump cancel glide, 5D, or even a command grab if you can. For those not good with numbers, +2 doesn't mean free pressure, and most will have an idea that you're going to try and glide afterwards, so they'll just poke you right out for free. So much so that when I tried on a fresh opponent for the first time in a match and they know to poke me out of it,
You're insane.
I'm just convinced everyone knows this mix-up.
No way he mashed there. He's crazy.
Alright, back to what Raven does best. And number one again in Ravikism, spaghetti. The standing button to chain from your up-close pokes to your half-screen pokes. Far slash is an upgrade to the range and damage of 5P and complements it pretty well when used together. It can stuff buttons from more than half screen if they have a large hurt box, and once again prevents Elfelt from writing the Anarchist Cookbook. Just like 5P, it hits kinda high, so low profiling it happens from time to time, but the worst part about Far Slash that it's kind of a worse 5P.
What the fuck?
It only has a sliver of disjoint and way longer startup, and that means you lose more often than not if you're trying to interrupt your opponent.
What the fuck? Come on, man.
Either stuff preemptively or hit the recovery. Don't do in between.
Oh, yeah.
In neutral, you can buffer scratch behind this since on counter hit it'll connect, and on block, you're still safe. You'll be surprised at what range of scratch will net you a knockdown and excitement just from your Far Slash gamble.
Okay.
Once you're more familiar, start throwing a 2H behind your Far Slash, since that will also work on counter hit, and you can kind of mix up your spaghetti with a little linguine. Far Slash and scratch can work if you're at level 3 excitement and they're crouching, but it will never work from the air, so don't do that. But do this. Don't do that. Do this, as Far Slash is a jump cancelable normal, meaning as long as you connect it, you can most likely hit a JK or a JS as an easy air combo, plus get a knockdown. Or Gatling into the fusilli pasta in 5H, in case you're not confident, because 5H makes everything easier, you'll see later. But before we do, what if Far Slash but disjointed. And closer. No, not close slash. I'm trying to forget it actively. 2S, a fast and disjointed mid that I love to use round start since it mostly beats everyone else's round start options. It can hit things lower to the ground like startup of Stroke and Ground Viper, but not when they're fully low profile, so just watch out. But it combos into 2H on crouching, so whenever you get a close slash punish and you see them pop on a squat, throw a 2S in there for some extra damage before you do ye old swipe and stripe. Okay, so the facility part of the spaghetti, because his arms twist. Plus, it's not really spaghetti. I should have named number 2 just pasta. He's not even Italian. You know, you get it, right? Come on, he's German. He likes bratwurst. I should have just named it bratwurst, whatever. So 5H, a 10-frame startup, heavy normal, that is one of the best all-around buttons that Raven has next to 5K. First of all, it hits twice, and at an upward angle, so it's great for picking up air combos, or even anti-airing if you hate 6P, which we do. Also integral in the level 3 command grab since you can pick up with it, and it's your most damaging normal to start with instead of 5K. Pick whichever hitbox you want to jump cancel since you can with either. Great for when they're further than expected and run into one of the 7 active frames that the second hit alone gives you. I'm not saying to poke with this thing in neutral since its recovery is pretty bad, still better than 6P's, but it does get results due to its disjoint and range.
Oh my god.
The first closer hit on counter hit gives a nice stagger, so if they're mashing, and you probably are as well, you can get a quick follow-up or a black beat if they were not mashing fast enough. Yeah, we're not jorking that anymore, we're just mashing again. Plus our jorking, Xrd mashing. She's mashing it. Speaking of mashing, this is my go-to mash button besides 4P. Look, Sean, I learned from you. 4P is 5 frames, 5H is 10, it's double, but look at the reward, man. It's even fast enough to interrupt Chip's Rekka on hit. Plus you can take your time, having it be 2 hits, watch them as they go through, and then pick up whenever you're ready. Yeah, I'll admit, I just started using this more than 6P. It's kind of a replacement. I mean, it goes far, lets you hit confirm, is jump cancelable, and has less recovery on whiff. Come on. I just can't fathom using 6P in a lot of these situations. What? Side note, this thing just eats delay air dash Oki for breakfast. I'm telling you, I learned from Sean. You should know. I mean, look, it could probably even be Volcanic Viper, right? No? No? Alright, fine. Because reason number 1, Raven would rather take the pain here. Rookie mistake. Final note, you can combo from the first hit of 5H on counter hit, but you gotta cancel it immediately on prediction into either Orb into 4P or IED Glide to make it work, so I usually don't go for it, but it is there. And I guess also command grab if you're not too close, but don't do this. Alright, here it is. The button that turns every Raven player into a secret Dalsim main, once they realize its power and the true bearer of the spaghetti moniker. 2H. 15 frame startup, low profile, but hits from half screen away. It is a low and is your best pestering tool right next to far slash. It will combo into scratch virtually all the time, no matter where your excitement is, and you should cancel it even on block because this thing is negative as hell, so you need to go into scratch. Definitely don't whiff it either. Like, yeah, you can go into 2D or 5D for a wacky mix-up, but that's only at closer ranges, and scratch is safe and gives excitement, which is what you want, plus a knockdown, so just scratch. So as it implies, you scrub the floor with this move, but so does your hurt box, so those that live in the floorboards or actively anti-air the floor, you'll still probably trade with it. Player 6P. It will combo from close slash always, or 2S when they're crouching, so remember, you're routing, plus this funny backwards hit. I don't know, just funny. Here it is again.
What the f?
So yeah, if you like Dalsim limbs and getting low while hitting low, this is your move. Just beware of the usual low crushes or anything that takes them off the ground. And don't forget your life is on the line every time you throw this out. Just don't get too surprised when every 4 times you hit them from full screen, maybe one of those times you'll get smacked out of it.
Jesus Christ.
Just don't get too predictable or complacent. Oh, come on, that should have hit. Look, I know it would have gotten Blitz anyway, but like, I saw it in the rollback. Rollback's a line. So we're going from the most used move to a more niche one. 6H is disjointed, evasive, and airborne, and used mostly on Oki, plus...
Damn, I caught backdash.
That, yeah. It surprised me just how active it was, catching pod and even Slayer backdashes here. The reason you want to use this on Oki is because it's not great in neutral. I mean, look, you're airborne, meaning you can't be thrown on their wake up. 0 frame throwers really do define Oki in this game. Look, you could even see Elfelt's 5H start up before I cat scratched or fever. And what happens when people get hit out of their 5H? They get counter hit, and you get a nice stagger to capitalize on. You can run up and black beat combo them if they're not ready for it, or just go for the quick true follow-up like an immediate scratch. I think also 2H works. While rare, an air counter hit gives a huge float, so capitalize with 5H and get a rare knockdown. A rare but welcome one. Yeah, it is weird that these were all pot, but I can't believe I avoid being scooped here. I mean, must be the disjoint saving me, I don't know. If you're not confident, Y or C you can always do before the actual hit, and then just kind of take it from there. Though you are in the air, so hopefully you have a plan. Air throw, of course, duh. To round out this niche moves utility, it can also be jump canceled on hit or block, as it is your right to double jump, but no more tomfoolery after that. This is very useful on defense, as it's basically a safe attempt on Oki if you jump backwards to reset to neutral. This jump cancel even works on Jam's parry of all things, letting you be in the clouds before that cloud berry can jam you. Pairs nicely into jump forward JH, as it is a true combo on counter hit. Notice how it avoided that blitz. The delay and the distance that you travel can really save you in a lot of wake up situations, even dead angle. And you're damn right it works on DPs. Just take note, clashes do happen since they are double disjoints touching tips here. So immediate cancels are available to both parties. You might get slapped, so you could FD, but you could just hold up to jump out of whatever they cancel into and maybe get a counter poke out of it. Like, sure, you can also hit JS if you're feeling brave, but they might just DP again, like this chip, and oh, wouldn't you know it, they're out of range. Shame.
Smoking spaghetti style.
Standing overhead in 5H is definitely useful as the soon-to-be-revealed Blender character that he is, and its range is some of the best in the game for a 5D. Though sometimes that range can make you whiff your follow-up normals now and then.
Oh no.
Here's what the usual 5D combo is if you do 5D6, as in running into the corner. A bit fancy, but you can omit the blitz and just go right into the anti-air command grab when they're on the wall. Here's what the 5D8 combo looks when you go upwards. Works pretty much anywhere. Just know that the JD isn't a true knockdown at this height, so you might have to throw a pin out there afterwards, maybe get an OTG, or maybe hit them if they tech out. You could also opt for a double scratch for some excitement, or you can guarantee a knockdown at any height by using 50 meter for an air super. Despite its slow startup, which you of course can get hit out of, it's just as slow as chips at 27 frames, but it's only -1. So at range, you could frame trap with your disjointed 5P if they try to counter hit or run at you. Screw it, get cheeky with a 5D reset and oh, you heard burst max and had an epiphany? Don't worry, I heard it too. Also, here's an air hit with it.
Wow.
It's just the peak of smacking them with like a wet noodle. Why? I don't know, funny. The JP.
Yes.
No. We did that. We did the joke already. No, come on. Editor, do a new one. Do a new joke. I'll wait. Make it pretty, make it fancy. The JP.
Fraud.
Good, thank you. It's a good, if not weird-looking air-to-air button, but it's also a decent jump-in button as well. It's fast and has a slight disjoint with easy gatlings, like JS, that will not fail to pick up even if it's an awkward situation. Due to my avoidance of using 6P and 5H being a little slow, rising JP can be a pretty good anti-air as well. Especially for those easy-to-stuff specials like Mega Fist and Bandit Bringer, you're going to use this a lot. Okay, for real though, seeing 6H is the easiest I'm going to bringer callout in the world, even if you get hit by the 6H. And look, I'm not saying it's the best JP in the game, and Soul didn't mash out another JP here, so I can't definitively say it. Just take this clip of me preemptively JPing around the screen, effectively zoning a Faust out, even though the Faust didn't really use JH at all here, so make your own judgments. So yeah, disjointed. Oh, it could also be double jumped off of itself, which isn't a very common thing for a JP normal to have, and low recovery, making burst baits pretty easy, and even whiffing it during the glide to land and throw are effective. Sometimes too effective, as this thing can just whiff randomly.
What the fuck?
Ah, yes, randomly. Totally not, because Soul is a tiny boy with no legs and has several moves that just scrunch him down like a cartoon character. JK is mostly an air combo filler button, but through its long active frames and different kind of hitbox placement, it's a great all-around choice. JK's hitbox is actually much lower than his other buttons, effectively scraping the ground as he flies towards his enemies. That means crawling Faust or floor-licking Souls will instead lick these boots. Didn't mean to make it weird, but it's a Raven video, so we're already there. Also, this tends to be the tech out button of choice for me, just because it's so active. Someone is bound to just apply their face to my foot technique. Come on, that's a Kung Pao reference. That shouldn't count. And gatling to another button or jump canceling it to pick up and then get that knockdown is quite the easy feat. Oh, come on! It's spelled differently. Anyway, one simple mistake may just lead to a longer combo and eventually their defeat. Why? As much fun as the spaghetti limbs are, JS is the one I used to call the paintbrush, because you'll greet your opponent with your happy little accidents and just beat the devil out of them. funny. In the script, I wrote paintbrush, and I feel like that's more appropriate, really. Also, it just looks like a paintbrush. I mean, look at that thing. It's your go-to button when you get a ground throw, going from JS into JP into JS, jump cancel another JS to get a knockdown. As many as you can, the better. Hits a little below and in front of Raven, so it's a good button to lead with if you want more range and damage than JP. Plus, it's only 1 frame slower at 7 frames. It has a way longer counter hit state, so if you smack someone on the way down at range, you can just kind of re-jump and pick it back up. It can cause some bursts to whiff, but I really think it's because I was a little bit just lower than him here in this situation. And sadly, I don't think you could use it like a JK where you can hit the ground during a glide, like with Ground Viper. It might be over or just kind of like past them in these clips, but that's why I just use JK in a lot of my glide starters. Also, here's another backwards hit because, once again, funny. What the Alright, the few button that starts every 5D combo and ends everyone's attempt to breathe, JH. And rightfully so, as it's the most damaging air normal, and you don't even need all 3 hits for that to be true. I call it the f*** button because it seems like you just kind of wrap yourself in a ball and hits all around you while Raven presumably just says f*** you from the inside. And it looks like it would do just that, hitting cross up and beneath you, but looking at this clip and the hitbox tells a different story.
What?
Yeah, don't rely on it hitting behind or beneath you during a glide, since low profile moves can still anti-air you. Anyway, notice it's 3 hits. Using it during a glide is great since you can toss this in and just get 3 hits no matter what, right? Well, we'll get to it, but glide is a bit weird since usually it only lets 3 air normals per glide, so JH kind of takes up that whole slot, so to speak, and snaps you to the ground. Long story short, if you use JH at the end of a glide string, you'll land early, only 1 hit of JH hitting, making you super plus, like in here. Or more importantly, just use it for safe jumps, primarily from scratch knockdowns. Just make it so that the 3rd hit of JH would hit them, you kind of have to time it, and you are safe from reversals. If you use JH earlier in your glide string, you can land and go low with 2K, or even throw if you've conditioned them enough. The timing is a little strict because if you hit JH too early, or if you do it from like a weird glide height that's like not an IED like it normally is, you might get all 3 hitboxes, but you kind of are stuck in the air for a little bit, usually getting thrown after, even on hit. Just kind of mess around with it. Sometimes you'll get weird things like 2 hits of JH instead, or accidentally be burst safe, kind of like the safe jump setups from before. Either miss the burst though, or just land and block it. I love accidental option selects. JD is basically a 2-hit 6H, but in the air, since it moves you backwards and has huge range. It's not disjointed, but its range can beat some 6Ps anyway. You'll use to end your air combos from about double jump height and still get a knockdown. You could even cancel JD into pin for an OCG slow. It's a common button before the air super, which you'll use from if you're higher up than double jump height to guarantee a knockdown. So it's not really used in glides due to its pushback, but it can be used as like a spacing trap, or even as a 1-hit confirm here, but just don't try this in glides, it's not useful. So when you're in the situation where you're canceling JD into orb for a looping corner Oki, you can rely on that 2nd hit, only to ensure the knockdown will connect and continue the spaghetti cycle. So sometimes you won't get that 1st hit, you'll only get the last hit, but that's the one you want. It knocks down. Just be careful about corner push out or weird body sizes since this can happen. No! What happened? Last bit, you don't get pushed back on whiff, so this burst missed me, coincidentally. Unlucky chump. Top 8 Salty Sean talking this one. J2K, or bonjour, as you hardcore Lucid fans would know it and call it by.
Bonjour. Bonjour. You're getting pretty liberal with the bonjour, but it's fine.
It's a dive kick that halts your air momentum and pops you up a little bit before dropping straight down, messing up your opponent's timing. It can cross up and is a real overhead, but it's not disjointed, so just be careful. I mean, just look at how ambiguous the side is and the timing is. Good luck 6P'ing that. Depending on how high you hit them, it ranges from -2 to +7. You can't FD cancel it to air stall like Faust, Eno, or Chip, but you can whiff it to mess with your opponent timing, I guess. Sure. You can use Meteor to fake out the dive kick, I guess, and you can special cancel it, but you can't really find much use for the special cancel here, so.
What?
Now everyone say bonjour to J2K.
Bonjour.
Raven's ground throw dribbles them onto the ground, allowing for a full air combo. Usually leads into a JD knockdown for some standard Oki. Your grab range is on the smaller side, equal to those of like Milia and Bedman, so you'll want to use the momentum from glide to either empty throw them or use the dash momentum from grounded forward dash to get in there. You can always give them like 1 little love tap before going for it. But now behold the power of 2 hits before throw. As you can see, it's not very exciting, but it's essential to the mix. Plus, given how Raven's supers are and how they scale, the scaling on throw might not even matter and still leads to kills like this. And just the fact that not everyone gets a free follow-up on throw, but you can, meaning you can go for an easy conversion or something that will actually kill them. Plus, parry into throw is hilarious if they actually let you do it. What better transition from a ground throw to an air throw than with a soul steal? And what a way to one-up that previous event than with a gold soul steal? You can tell I was fishing for it. Raven's air throw range is middle of the road, and by that I mean the same as everyone besides the 4 air throw gods here. That doesn't mean it's bad or useless, as you can tell from my reactions here.
Oh, that was sick! No! Oh, I missed.
Yeah, instant air throws still get me hype, and it should get you hype too. Please clap.
Get this shit out of here. Oh, that was sick!
Anyway, treat it like an anti-air, because it is your fastest option at frame 0, you know, instant air throw. So reacting to your own mistakes, or especially when they do delay air dash oki, should be a breeze. Or just anytime they jump on your wake up and aren't immediately in your face. But just because they're not in your face doesn't mean you can't snatch them out of the aether. Yes, watching Venom's balls so you can easily snatch him out of the air is very satisfying. Same goes for a paper skin ninja here too. He thinks he can get away, but I think he enjoys pain just like Raven does. I may not have 6-speed Ryujin as much as I wanted to this time around, but I did jump IB air throw, so that's way cooler. Anyway, moral of the story, watch out for those air tech outs and toss them back to the ground, which sets you up nicely for some glide oki. And in the corner, at very low heights, you can even combo meterlessly, so that's neat. As usual, YRC air throw is great on every character, so if you can use it effectively, bonus points to you. You don't have to be Chip, Teleport, YRC, you can just be Raven. One thing I did forget to mention, since it is forgettable, is Dead Angle, the 50-meter Get Off Me tool. As you can see, it uses the same animation as 6P, but get this, has better recovery and frame advantage than 6P. I know you can special cancel 6P, but it's just another thing that baffles me about Raven 6P. It's not Slayer 6P. It's not Slayer 6P. I just have to remind myself every time I play a new character. This is the worst. Blitz is a 25-meter universal parry that you can just basically play rock, paper, scissors with your opponent in rapid succession. I have a whole video on it, watch that. Some don't like it, but it doesn't come up super often, and there's interesting decisions to be made in very little time. Kind of like Danger Time, but less threatening. And if you don't like Danger Time or Blitz, that's fine. But if you think either mechanic is unfair, you're just objectively wrong. Stay on the ground or climb the Blitz staircase as shown here. Anyway, there's high Blitz, there's low Blitz.
Nice Blitz.
You can be grabbed out of it, partial charge flings them away, but it wall sticks if you're in the corner, and full charge awards you a full crumple and therefore a crouch and confirm for all your hard work in holding that button down. Instead of doing normals, Raven can also blitz out of glide, and if you don't think that's cool, then fuck you. You'll be seeing more of that blitz gliding soon. And soon it shall be. We're getting into our number 3 thing of Ravikism, and that being blenders. I guess we figured out the spaghetti part. We saw the normals. I'll cross that off. I'll mark that as done. No, he doesn't really like breakfast smoothies. This character is a pasta masochist who will mix you up like a tossed salad and make suggestive noises while doing it. And to start said blender, let's go over glide. This is the thing you've undoubtedly seen the most of so far in this video, probably for the past about 42 minutes. Instead of a regular air dash, glide is Raven's air dash. It's a move that descends from your current height until parallel with the ground, at which point you can cancel said glide into normals or specials. These specials tend to have different properties with the new momentum you've given them, so we'll talk about that soon, mostly scratch. Anyway, this air dash goes near full screen and it's great for chasing down a fleeing opponent, and the glide itself has a hitbox. Yeah, it's pretty small, but it is a real overhit. Plus, because it's so active, it could eventually beat Soul coming up for air after a ground viper. Like 2 star-crossed lovers on separate but parallel paths until that fateful day when they kiss. They hit each other with their hitboxes. The hitboxes. Well, it is a faster overhead if you cancel glide into JP. The regular glide hit itself is perfectly serviceable, especially after your usual JD knockdowns into blender. And from that initial hit, you can still cancel into your other normals, so mix up your overhead approach. Pin wire C glide is a great way to approach from full screen while still being able to blend them. It's weird, but gliding from different heights can cause inconsistent results, like skimming across Pot's head here, like that one cornfield scene from that one famous movie that no one's actually seen. But to fully embody Ravikism commandment number 3, we must blend effectively by canceling the glide before it even starts up and then going low. Instead of instant air dashing, you want to delay that air dash until you're about the apex of your jump and then hit a button on the way down to cancel the glide. I usually time this by whiffing a JP on the way up, but it can be done as long as you're at about regular jump height. And you could even safe jump with it, if you're ready for it, that is. Beware, blitzing during this cancel window will just put you in recovery if you land before rejecting anything, so don't do that.
No way, I did the cancel. I didn't know it worked like that.
Anyway, as cool as Glide is, it's still very linear and predictable, and you'll get jealous at seeing your opponents using their way better 6P to swat your fly ass out of the sky. Even canceling from your +2 normal in close slash, your fastest overhead is still about as slow as your 5D, so they're probably going to react unless you condition and poke them effectively. If you don't rotate your options enough, you'll react like this fool who doesn't understand the definition of insanity.
No way he mashed there. He's crazy.
Luckily, you may remember that we have JK on our side, the de facto anti-air move that hits the floor and can beat 6Ps. Most of them. More importantly, another way to rotate your options is to vary the amount of glide hits that you actually do. As mentioned, you can usually do about 3 hits before you start descending, but depending on how long you delay the first button, that can change. Here I get 2 hits and even force JH to only hit twice as well, even once in this situation. You gotta feel it out, and at first you might even not know yourself how many hits you're gonna do, but that's the best kind of mix-up. Just remember not to JH too early from glide, since you'll put yourself in air jail and you'll be negative. You may also remember that whiffing JP early for a throw to fully cover your blending ability, but also delaying just 1 button is enough to land, punish, or block those funny bursts like safe jumping JH from a scratch knockdown. But honestly, because of how glide works and that it only gives you a handful of frames to hit normals with, as long as you hold back during a glide string, chances are you'll automatically land and block if they do try to burst. Here's some examples of different buttons, different timings. Just hold back, it seems to work pretty often. Other quirks with glide include turning around sometimes. I think it's because when you pass through where the enemy was, the game kind of just stops your glide. Going over them doesn't seem to do this, but on the ground it does seem to turn you around. This is great for those burst blocks, as sometimes we'll just land on the other side with no recovery and punish them. And I think I was trying to do air scratch here, but I landed backwards and ended up doing an air command grab.
That was sick.
Which is just crazy, because it happened twice.
Oh, that was sick.
Love this game. On to how I led into this section to begin with, glide blitzing.
Perfect.
It does say you can cancel glide into stuff, so why not a parry that is flying at you from full screen at the speed of sound? Speed of really slow sound, to be fair, which is why 6Ps are such a threat, so parry them instead. I mean, you can't FD from glide, so it's really your only defensive option, and man, do people love to try and swat at your glide after a burst. It just keeps happening, just fly right back at them. Blitz, blitz, blitz. Anyway, you can also blitz projectiles like May's balls or Venom's balls, even refreshing your double jump and going through Venom's 6H. Oh. Blitz is weird, man. Just glide blitz responsibly, as it can be a boom, but it can also be low profile, so just beware. Cancel anything from glide, huh? No, it couldn't be. Gold burst? And then using it to, a little anticlimactic, but sure. To further anticlimax, a thing I'm sure Raven is totally into, let's talk about Raven in the corner. Since Raven doesn't have a normal air dash, and when you do glide it makes you come down, it's very difficult to escape the corner. Super jumping by itself, delay glide, maybe dash back into the corner, you'll try everything since gliding is just way too predictable and way too easy to intercept. Besides squeezing in a parry or a reversal super, your options are limited. A decent idea is a super jump, P, pin, Y, or C, then glide out of there. If they block it, great. If they get hit, even better. As long as you get out of there or force them to block your glide, perfect. Yeah, pin is pretty good. Oh, right, pin. As much as we love Ravikism Commandment number 3 of blending, we must remember Ravikism Commandment number 2, spaghetti. And how best to complement the scriptures of spaghetti than with a zoning projectile? It's like the body of Christ is the spaghetti, and the needle is like the blood? This Jesus metaphor is going a little too far, but to be fair, in the lore, Raven was basically Jesus at one point. Guilty Gear lore is basically just Kingdom Hearts levels of bad, alright? Just live with it. Just beware, you can only have 1 pin at a time on screen, and if you have orb out as well, you also can't throw pin, so here's me trying to do so and only getting 6P, the worst. It moves in a straight horizontal line and is prone to being low profile by the usual suspects, but if you do hit, it does have a straight 50% horizontal movement speed debuff to everything an opponent does, and it does look pretty silly while being really effective at slowing the movements down. So Dustloop is right when it says things like Johnny Dash and then Slayer Teleport will reduce their movements, since it's not actually like a teleport, but more like he's invisibly sliding across the ground, hence why you can still see the slow effect following him. But the Dustloop also says that chip teleports aren't affected, which is just wrong. Real chip players know that the distance affects where the teleports will actually take him. Like even at full screen, the heavy teleport will be in front of them instead of being behind, letting this corner setup work where the S teleport normally would not. Pin affects the distance that chip teleports. K teleport doesn't go behind, and neither does heavy slash because they're only going half the normal distance. Not sure if the Dust Loop writers didn't care to test this anywhere other than point blank, but even then, there's a difference. Alright, well, since I pointed this out to the Raven Discord, it's since been fixed, and I didn't take any screenshots of it beforehand, so now it just looks like I'm an old man yelling at clouds. Usual. Anyway, here's some more funny ones I tried out just for the sake of it. Funny. Save you a little bit from my ramblings. Like and subscribe if you're going to be here and just watch these. I don't think it works on supers. I think I mentioned that. Hopefully I do. The debuff lasts longer with the more excitement levels that you have, and can even enable unique combos into dash up 5k, a mid-screen pickup, no corner required here. Still really only doable from 6 or more ticks, and from a pin YRC glide, where the pin actually hits them, but it lets you get an anti-air command grab mid-screen, only on lightweights, but hey, you know, good to know. Thanks to the Raven Discord for helping me with this one because the Dust Loop isn't super clear about it. I'm also use pin YRC to extend my pressure if I have 25, since you can just glide right behind it. Since you can glide from pin YRC, that means you are in the air already, so you can just act from there without gliding, picking an air combo hopefully. There is an air version of pin, making 6H even safer to throw out if you did it by accident here. Wouldn't recommend. There are 2 angles when it comes to throwing it out in the air. The P1 is a little bit more shallower and close to you, whereas the K1 is a little bit more for further zoning and kind of hits like IED height. Air P pin is great to catch them with and chase their air tech out as long as they didn't come packing their own movement projectiles. What? P pin is also the one you use after a JD knockdown to get that OTG slow we talked about. This won't prevent them from escaping the corner, as vertical movement, like jumps, work normally, but it helps them stay still horizontally, and you can react faster to dumb counterattacks like Riot Stamp. Just know if you try to do the air pin from a dust combo, it probably won't hit, because they can just tech out. Luckily, this pin can cover you if they do try to tech out and counterattack, so nice try, Warcrimer. Finally, something I didn't use enough was the Tiger Knee Pin YRC. To not only bait throws on Oki, but also to get a glide mix-up right afterwards. Comes with the safety of a YRC slowdown, so you can kind of use it like a Eno VCL YRC, see what's going on, react to them. I just realized the needle is the same one through his own head. Yeah, he put that there for lore reasons too. Can't wait for the sequel to Jesus Raven over 358 days. Did I just write? Back to compliment Ravichism commandment number 2 is... or Scratch as we call it. Thank you for the German lessons, Raven. Yeah, all other specials are German too, by the way, and he says it so anime that I really thought it was just Japanese the whole time. I apologize to my German heritage, and also apologize for my German heritage. This is the move you'll be buffering behind your long pokes and supplementing your zoning buds because of its range and knockdown properties, and lockdown properties. We'll get to that soon. Of course, you get 1 tick per scratch, so increases your damage and reduces its startup per excitement level. So if you route into Scratch from 2D, it won't always work, so once again, refer to that funny chart or rewind the video or whatever. Think of the weight classes as the different excitement levels. It'll make sense eventually, or just ignore it and just do the 5H, 2H Scratch route instead. Scratch can do a grip with a lot of excitement, so even OTG can surprise you with its damage. When it doesn't kill, chip is always a factor, and the opponent has to directly call it out, otherwise they'll have to block it or take it to the face due to its safety and range. At worst, it is -3, and the more excitement you have, the faster it starts up. 1 frame faster at level 2 and 2 frames faster at level 3 makes a difference, as you can tell by the 2D chart that you have to make and learn by this character. By itself, the range is incredible, and where the claws are completely disjointed, so going through projectiles or pot shield is a breeze. This can create a lot of clashes and therefore danger times, so just be ready to poke back in that situation, really predict what that solo is gonna— He went crazy. You went monkey? You went monkey. Yep, figured. Sadly, Scratch does hit lower to the ground than expected, so it can be low crushed by certain moves. To be on the safe side, a 2H before the Scratch almost always connects, and counter hit // also leads to Scratch, even at max range, and with no excitement.
God damn.
I know! Again, it's safe if they block it, so there's no real risk here. Unless they like IB what you did beforehand and hard red and counter it, but don't count on it happening often. That's only if you're really used to the matchup. And you could also go for the guaranteed to work buttons like 5H, since we already know how easy that one is to mash out with, and the spaghetti is very strong with this one. Scratch RC has plenty of hit stun to force a mix-up, hence the lockdown thing I mentioned beforehand, or if you're especially practiced, a glide cancel mix-up. This way you can safely enforce your high-low as they can't mash out of it. On hit, however, you can do a glide combo into air scratch. Air scratch, when used towards the end of a glide when enough speed is built up, will actually fast fall you and let you pick up way easier. Honestly, it seems like it works after one normal at times, and in other cases it doesn't. It's a little weird. Again, you kind of have to feel it out. Glide is very finicky. If you do it too early or too late, you get the kind of like float effect, kind of like with the JH if you do it too early. In the corner, it's super easy to loop the situation, confirm into 5H, get a JD knockdown with orb, and then glide into it for Oki, and then just kind of blend them as the commandment number 3 states. What a weird out of context sentence. Like I'd be a god at Boggle if like FGC terms were allowed. And look, after all of that overhead mix, throwing in that one low makes you a master of the blender. Praise be commandment number 3. So if used on its own, air scratch starts up faster than the ground version, but has less range and therefore less disjoint, so trades are more common. And if used as an air combo ender for ticks, you can tech trap, usually with like your sticky fingers, to skamaita them. If you want to guarantee that skamaita, Roman cancel the scratch, and due to its corkscrew effect, you'll have plenty of time to confirm with your salad fingers. If used near a corner, scratch can be linked into itself for more ticks and damage. You usually don't get a knockdown from it. If you're still within that like single jump height range, and depending on the character, a double scratch can still give you knockdown and Oki. Ticks and Oki? Well, strap me on and These confirms are easier with more ticks because of the faster startup at each excitement level gives you, but are usually possible all the time with the right combos. You can even optimize your scratches and excitement levels utilizing Tiger Knee Scratch and Fastfall Scratch to confirm into anti-air command grab and deal a butt-ton of damage and maintain your ticks. Usually these start with level 3 excitement, but there are some routes that start at the lower levels and build up as you go. Here's pin slowdown being used before I even realized what it was doing, keeping mate close by for a pickup. Finally, here's a combo with 7 scratches in one go. Last is OTG, but the point is proven. You can get so many scratches if you optimize it, and it's sick as looks good in training, but then you try in a real match and OTG, but hey, at least you still get the ticks. Anyway, point of this section is just to show how Fastfall Air Scratch can be used in the corner to get an anti-air command grab. You'll learn soon, but anytime you can convert into this, especially without meter, is a huge swing in your favor. Any extra ticks gives you more damage and potentially opens up your combo routes. And with that damage boost and ticks, you could just let loose and prevent your opponent from bursting with a certain super, but we will get to that soon. So putting all the Ravakism commandments together results in combos like this. Jump scaring your opponent into a situation they realize they may actually die from way too late, and now they can't burst. So let's just stop beating around the burning spaghetti bush and fully explore the promised land of the yoinkey Sploinkey. So yes, as you've seen at this point in this deep dive into Ravakism, he has a command grab. 2 in fact. 1 for the ground and 1 for the air. For now, let's talk about the ground one, Wachenzweig, or as I like to call it, the yoinkey Sploinkey. Yes, the final mix-up layer, as they are considering all of your high-low options. They now have to think about throw not only up close, but from about a Raven's 5p distance away. It can be jumped on reaction because of its 27-frame startup, the same amount as his 5D, and the same amount of the recovery of 6p, but I said I'd let it go. I said I would, but it can still catch people off guard and nab you those 3 ticks, and give you time for Glide and Orb Oki, sometimes both if you have the meter. At 3 ticks, at level 2 excitement, you get a small little bounce after the command grab that gives you a 5k or a 2s pickup. Then at 6 ticks, at a level 3 excitement combo, you get a huge bounce and more importantly, a 5h. You can't grab them while they are blocking, nor in hit stun, of course, but you can combo into it technically from a stagger, the only way throws can combo in this game on the ground. Use its range and your blending tools to force them into sitting still, like setting up orb, so they can either stand block or crouch to avoid blocking at all. But if they're not in block stun and can't move backwards or jump, you know what that means. It's not foolproof, as they can just stand up to block at any time or use character-specific low-profile moves to beat your mix, but we'll get to that orb section later. Despite all of this, the startup can be sort of a boon here, as the command grab is 6 times the active frames of most characters. So that means Pop Buster, Wild Throw, Ram, and Zato's command grab are all only active for 1 frame, with way less startup than Raven's. What's that? Elfo has a 3-frame active command grab? Well, yeah, of course, from shotgun stance. She needs it to be good in the stance because it's not already strong enough with the 4 other options that she has, of course. With Raven's active frames, they can run into it. Like, it's not that useful as the other one's speed, but, it has the range. More importantly, you can catch certain backdashes since the startup has to be weighted out anyway, and the 6 active frames can catch their landing.
What?
As expected, armor stands no chance against command grabs, and that goes the same for blitzes and parries. Ironically, the main problem with command grab is being too close.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so the command grab that has range and 6 whole active frames with a slight hand disjoint to boot has a slight dead zone right in front of them. So let this be a visual lesson to keep them at a distance at all costs, even if you know that they're going to sit still, because your warm spaghetti embrace is more distant and cold than you might think. But hey, look on the bright side, it still can grab Ground Viper, and not just during the startup, but when he's actively waxing the floor with his tongue.
What?
And you'll find out what moves that seem invulnerable are actually not.
Ooh, what? What?
And by that I mean they're throw vulnerable. I was pretty shocked about this one, but it shouldn't really be a surprise considering how many of these actually exist. I know there's the Eno one, the Bedman one, but this one in particular, I mean, you hear my reaction, and I'm just like, well, it's Jacko, so. Finally, if they jump later into the startup, you may be able to counter them before they counter you. Always be ready with an air throw or a panic 6P, as awful as 6P may be, it's a good last resort.
No, okay.
Or, you could opt for the long-lost sibling of the yoinkey Sploinkey that only the commandments and scriptures have foretold. The Yinkey Sploinkey. Just kidding, it's been in the video this whole time, front and center. It's the anti-air command grab, you've seen it. You know how grabs are unburstable, right? Well, a common follow-up from the ground yoinkey is a RC into the air Splinkey. This makes it so they cannot burst any follow-up command grabs until you hit them with a regular, normal, or special.
Oh, sick.
And when you do, you know they'll want out. So you understand what comes next, right? Avoiding bursts altogether for the kill by using a super is a genuine tactic here.
So good.
On hit, it works the same as the grounded version. Get glide or ball oki until you are at level 2 or 3 for the, air combo pickups as mentioned. Notice I said on hit, not on grab, because this isn't actually an air command grab. If you know how heat knuckle works, you'll already be ahead of me on this one. So faster than the grounded grab, but throws out an unblockable if they connect with it in the air. The messed up things, like if they were blocking an orb or even a button mid-air, this is basically checkmate. The only way out is if they were out of range to begin with, or a blitz, like a Chad. But as you saw with the 6P RC, you can't blitz that. So good luck being out of range, since this is true linguini behavior.
Oh, what?
With its 8 frames faster startup and 9 active frames compared to the grounded version, these fingies are the stickiest. It also helps that on the hand is a disjoint, so if they were IADing at you or at that 45-degree angle, even if they're swinging at you, you're still probably going to yoink them. Sorry, yank them. My bad, sacrilege. So despite this move being the origin of the Raven Brain Syndrome study, they won't always be hanging in the air right where you want them to be. Alright, maybe this one will. Even though I call it the anti-air command grab, it doesn't really have anti-air properties like you'd want it to. Yes, I spun it this entire video, but this is the one place where it can really shine. While extremely committal, buffering the air grab behind the 6P is way better than hoping close slash will connect. You see how that works. Plus you get 3 ticks, and of course Oki or a combo. It's pinnacle Raven neutral. Obvious jumps, delayed air dashes are all great guaranteed time 6P air grab will work, since it has to be a counter hit for it to connect. And you can shut down some long round start buttons and still get the grab because of that range.
What the fuck?
And you're goddamn right, I'm 6P in Ryujin. It's in the contract for my videos, I have to do it. Found it finally. And even if they don't tech, it can still work. Just don't count on them not teching, of course. Most will be mashing out, as they should, and that long limb is now unfortunately their silk road to your health bar. But its range isn't infinite, so even if you do get the hit, even on Clash, that startup isn't doing you any favors, so buffer wisely.
Oh my god.
You could, after all, just get the air grab from any normal on counter hit, but this comes with the same risks as 6P, even if those might have less recovery than 6P.
What the fuck?
Other ways to combo into air grab is a wall splat from Blitz or a dust combo. And of course the whole section about fast fall scratchers that was just talked about, do it there too. More details on Raven's swirling balls later, but sweep under a ball can be a great tool to land an air grab from. In terms of tech outs, besides the 6P, this is a great frame trapping tool if they're asleep at the wheel. Drop a combo? Yeah, get a grab. Land a random pin? Yeah, get a grab. Burst them away, you know they're gonna come back into your loving arms. They just can't stay away. The key to feeling this one out is to really be familiar with what opponent's tools are more airborne focused.
No, it doesn't work.
I mean, come on, your opponent is more than likely going to use their anime moveset to take to the skies anyway. Take advantage of this game's tendency to reward bum rushing and air dashing.
Oh. That was sick.
It means every bringer, every dive kick, whether it's paired with an RC or not, can get these hands. Okay, a lot of solo examples, but he is the most played character, so it's warranted. If you see someone dragon installing in the air, you know you have to try and yink that Splink.
Knew it.
Point is, experiment and find out what moves are grabbable. Answer can parry unblockables, but on the way down, it's still vulnerable. Even in block strings, it's important to represent because you do have the grounded grab they need to worry about. They might just jump into it. And when the air one stops being jumped, just go right back to the grounded one. Of course, there are things you cannot grab, like bursts, sadly, I know. Blue or gold, since it is an unblockable strike, it cannot work against the burst animation itself. It's strike invulnerable. This doesn't mean you can't wait for them to be on the way down, as we've seen before. There are some quirks with air command grab, like with how RC into another air grab doesn't work on Venom only. This seems to be due to the dead zone right in front of Raven, just like the grounded version has. It's more rare that they wouldn't be in the range of the air hitbox, and you'll see several examples of what looks like it working point blank as long as they jump. You'll get so used to it working that when they are actually out of range, your brain just can't comprehend it.
No, I was right too. I was right.
So you have to adjust. And then it stops working there when they're closer to you.
No, what?
And your Raven brain goes full single cell mode and just implodes.
What?
I'm here to tell you that it can also happen after a 6P. Who would have guessed?
No, what the?
Mostly in the corner, but being too close or too high is just a spacing issue, like all of the previous clips, honestly. Scale issue. Yeah, at least I can explain this one as just YRC bullshit. Like, I know it has 2 frames of invul, but I got 9 active frames, so what happened here? Why didn't that work? Fine, whatever. If they can use meter, let's talk about using meter ourselves. Because with this thing's startup and its recovery, you're gonna stuff a lot without using your butter bar. You may not like it, but this is peak Xrd performance. It's my fault for not YRCing myself. The YRC can eat input, so I might have tried and the input got skill issued, so. If you have 25, you have to recognize you're not gonna get the grab and cancel early, usually before the active frames, for it to count as a YRC. And if you have time, sneak in another button instead. If you're into or after the active frames, you need 50 meter for either the RC or PRC. Same idea, but here you should have plenty of time to counter poke if you recognized a PRC was needed. Just like any RC, use that slowdown to take advantage and hopefully counter your opponent for trying to punish your air grab, or, at best, just
Do it again.
wait for when your first grab attempt baited them into jumping so they can just, checkmate themselves. Lastly, here are some cool combos using RC after either command grab, so enjoy. Since the command grab gives several ticks, you can get creative with your orb and then maybe even get another grab. If you're really hungry for excitement and have full meter, why not get to level 3 excitement right away? Do a cool combo, get ball Loki. Perfect. Am I forgetting something? Mention balls and orbs. Insta kill, of course. Yeah, command grab level 3 excitement is a pretty easy way to go into an IK, so fun, sure, why not? Plus it uses the grab animation as the hitbox, so instead of it being a grab, it's just a hit now. Yeah, so if you didn't make the connection that Raven was Jesus, despite me saying that earlier in the video, so if you skipped ahead, shame on you. Seeing him dig himself out of the ashes, well, him and his opponent's ashes, should hopefully convince you. Or was that a phoenix that does that? Yeah, whatever. Let's talk about balls. As much as Raven talks about Soul's balls, especially with that seed comment, he sure does like to put his balls in everyone's faces mid-match. Finally, this is what makes that third commandment of Ravikism exist at all. So why, you asked, I leave it to last if it's so integral to his character? First of all, shut up! I'm very sensitive about balls. And second, I want to instill knowledge of all of Raven's actual mix-up methods and tools before we can actually put them in the blender at all. After all, the orb is the vehicle to which our mix can most effectively be driven. Well, except here. Since I'll show you how it functions in neutral, and by that I mean it doesn't, or shouldn't, really. Ground orb hover is roughly head height, and unless they ram their faces into it, they'll most likely smack you out of the slow startup. And remember, you can't have an orb and pin out there at the same time, so you can't even projectile zone while the orb is out. It is a good baby's first mix after a 2D, since you can jump over them and around your opponent and do a simple high-low or maybe a left-right if you do it late enough. I mean, hell, top 8 Salty Sean did it in his matches. It works here. So of course this can loop into itself and is still pretty useful even at no excitement levels, and as shown before, proximity block prevents them from backing away from it if they decide to stay grounded. And even if you throw it past them, like in the corner here, it can still be active and keep them in place. To more effectively keep them blocking the orb, more excitement increases its hits and therefore the time they have to block it, going from +30 to +61 on block. Sounds great, but 2D orb has a few flaws. They can just not respect it. So go under it with certain moves, or just blitz it, or just crouch, of course. And look, everyone can crouch under grounded orb, despite what the wiki will say. Unless they're Leo, Potemkin, Heihun, Bedman, everyone else can crouch under the ball. And I was going to do a whole the wiki is wrong again situation, but I even had screenshots prepared this time, and when I was consulted the Raven Discord, they proved it was technically accurate on there. See, if they hold straight down and don't block, they can get hit crouching, some of them, and only at certain idle animations. So yeah, while they shouldn't be trying to hold down forward to crawl under it, unless you're like Faust or something, who's holding straight down? Because you'll get hit. Who's doing that? But yeah, okay, Coom, you can deal with his balls by crawling under them, fine. There's another joke there with Coom and balls, but it's not worth it. While it does prevent them from jumping out of the corner, it's not the best way to honor commandment number 3. So in that case, let's go back to commandment number 1 and inflict pain on them this time. With ball combos. This works way better at higher excitement levels, but juggling off of the orb, usually into like a command grab, is the goal with impromptu situations like this. If you are really confident, a sweep into air command grab usually guarantees a dunk if the ball is above them. And it's not the best use of meter, but arcing the ball for these mix-ups and combos, it does work.
Ooh, I was almost sick.
But there is a better way to use that meter with orb. But first, what about balls, but in the air? Crazy concept, I know, but just imagine the wind gracing your balls with its gentle embrace. Well, you don't have to imagine it because it's right here. Footage of it right here. Okay, from that height, it is useless, but at the right height, just this mere utterance of its name can strike fear into players, like this guy.
Damn.
The ball drops to their feet, and don't reject my balls, Kai! Because of the height the air ball is placed, it is right on the opponent's crouching hitbox, meaning they have to take it or reject it. In neutral, air ball is a bit more flexible than grounded ball since you do have the momentum from jumps or air dashes to bait stuff and still put a multi-hit projectile towards them. Mostly you use the Tiger Knee orb after a command grab with level 1 excitement, but it also can be used in the corner with scratch depending on the distance. Of course you can just do glide, okay, but TK orb gives you a bit more assurance, at least in the corner since mid-screen most can backdash the orb with no problem, but here's a sad few who cannot. Funny enough, Pot, who has the best backdash in the game, cannot avoid this because he's just so wide. Which is also why Axel still blocks after backdashing if he stands, but not when he crouches. Okay, to get even weirder, after testing this with the backdash cancel and dot just for funny, I realized I can just jump this orb too. Yeah, so thinking it was the universal option since it worked for a lot of the characters at first and even in the corner, plus Pot can even jump it and he's the widest boy with the slowest pre-jump frames, and yet I was wrong again. So here's the rest that can't jump. Let's put them on screen and show them real quick. To prove the weirdness, Answer can jump it if he neutral jumps, but not if he up backs. Whatever, man, I give up. To prevent all of this bullshit, just YRC the Tiger Knee orb to go right in the glide, since this will prevent them from jumping out if they were able to do so, and hopefully prevent them from backdashing too. Right? Wrong. This isn't even right either. It mostly works as catching some enemies mid-backdash tended to happen, but certain backdash animations are just better and interact with this setup way differently. Chip gets out for free while Amelia gets clipped, and get this, Pod backdash actually works now because Raven's pushing him away from the orb. Bro. Take a second to say this game is just so sick because all the thousands of interactions that can happen and change with just one variable being added. Makes the game stay fresh because you'll keep seeing and discovering new shit like this. Moral of this section is that Tiger Knee orb for Oki isn't guaranteed, but unless you both study this interaction, just go for it and just see what happens, whatever. And corner YRC where all of this is cleared up, right? Hopefully, I'm not testing it, I don't care. I'm gonna say it works perfectly fine. Okay, let's do something more fun, shall we? YRC orb on Oki can actually be used for silly combos like this, and if they sit still, are open to overheads and a glide pickup. Pretty neat. More excitement means more orb hits, but you can even do this at lower excitement levels and then boost yourself to higher levels with meter. A wise man once said, you don't know your character until you use all of your moves effectively. And I think that combo and subsequent setup really embodies that statement. Tiger Knee, YRC, Orb Oki, plus Fast Fall Scratch into anti-air command grab and multi-scratches. That's just incredible. And a mouthful. God. And finally, for real this time, an air orb is commonly used after a JD for a knockdown mid-screen or corner to hopefully fulfill commandment number 3 indefinitely. Just infinite blending. Unlimited blend works, whatever. Doing orb from a JD at this height, even in the corner, is closer to like a ground orb height, but it won't matter. Your glide is coming in way faster and they have to take that mix immediately. I mean, no wonder that other guy quit when it started happening. Like before he saw that, he's like, I'm out. That... I know we said that the last example combo was everything Raven had to offer in one. I forgot one thing. All right, maybe two things. But the one I want to talk about right now is the Stab Super. Yes, get truer. Oh God, get truer, get truer, get truer. It's one of the most defining aspects of Raven, as everything Raven does culminates into this attack, and by everything, I mean his excitement meter, of course. So by filling your excitement gauge in several different ways, each tick adds 5 hits to the actual super, culminating in a total of 50 total hits at full 10 ticks. A very common time you'll see this move is from a Parry Stance, as you can super at any time, and it is a true invincible reversal. So invincible, in fact, that I may have used it to beat a wake up DP before because of its 9 frames of invuln and generous hitbox. Well, not that generous.
Oh my God.
He's more of a shower, not a grower, despite what his excitemometer would have you believe. Of course, you can just combo into it normally from normals to ensure that they won't be able to burst, though if you don't have a lot of excitement, this damage won't be as marvelous as you might be imagining.
Oh, I have no... did nothing.
If you do happen to have 100 meter though, just by chance, Stab Super does give a ground tumble on the last kick, and makes it pretty easy to combo and finish them off with. And in the corner, hey, why not do a second Stab Super right after the first? OTG it. So this is actually pretty tough to do, as you do need to be far enough away from the corner that the wall bounce gives you enough time for you to do the second one. And plus, you do have to factor in your excitement might be draining, so you might not get anything out of it.
No, I have no meter.
But if you manage to do everything right with spacing and meter management, you can almost kill. Yeah, this one up. Sorry about that. Yeah. No.
Oh.
So as you can see, this thing does a lot of damage and does a lot of hits at higher excitement, but that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed kill. You see, guts for a character is really kicking in when their health is flashing, and that ideally is what you want to get into and crush with this super, hence the term Guts Crush. Chip players have been doing this for years with this crazy off-the-wall, triple jump, kunai super, land, punch super. Why not give us our time? So technically using Stab Super early on in the health bar will have less effects compared to the end. I mean, just look at the difference. Here it is if you had no excitement, just one big kick, of course, compared to all the little stabs. However, the more hits, the easier they get burst back, as you can see with this May clip. So again, make sure that this is the end of the round type super, not a mid-round Hail Mary. Or I guess it's Hail May. So Burst Super is kind of nuts, since the minimum scaling, like all Burst Supers, is reduced, meaning you do more damage with a Burst Super. Makes sense, right? This means you'll do more damage, sure, but the distribution is actually kind of nuts and helps with those last hits even more. So for example, minimum damage for the Super is 20% on everything. But for Burst Super, the first hit is 20%. The Flurry is 30% scaling, and then the actual last hit is 40% for that final kick. That last kick will do a grip, even if it's not at the tail end of a Guts Crush. But despite all that excitement going into the event, once Raven is popped, post-super, he's popped and will start deflating his excitemometer right afterwards. But if you can promise him a round 2 by going into stance right after, you can prevent the meter from draining, especially if you decide to do the super mid-round and want to keep your excitement. But hey, maybe you'll get lucky and catch a ground viper or two, just like the combo trials for Raven teaches you. One of these bad boys gives a ton of excitement and a good bit of meter, so make sure to parry a neutral when you feel a good, you know, floor tongue waxing coming from your resident soul player. You know you have one. You know the one. On the other hand, you can do the true punish, which is bursting right here for a guaranteed combo. But that's lame. We want to get all that excitement and tension that we've built up so we can release it upon them. And I know how that sounds. I'm not sorry. You could unload on them in the middle or let them fall to their doom. To prevent bursts, though, go right for it. To ensure the kill, go for something sick like this. Yes, this is the precursor to the secret 4th commandment. The 4th commandment of Ravikism is to force them to sit there and watch a cutscene of how they'll die. Just a lot of cutscenes, a lot of supers, just so good. That's number 4. So here's how I was introduced to Raven's other super. Vers White Felt, that one. Dash Super. Just Dash Super.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, so because of the input, trying to 6P anti-air command grab, I tended to get the super by accident.
Not what I wanted, but alright.
Probably due to me having analog stick snapback. Yeah, I still use analog, and I'm not ashamed of it. Garena is going to show up badly. Oh well, put whatever you want on there. Probably more Raven so bad guys. Anyway, this is a full screen super that, once you get past the super flash, is invincible until recovery. So tossing this out as a whiff punish, it's actually dumb. It's incredibly dumb. Don't do it. It's dumb. Don't do it. So very telegraphed moves and even certain supers can just be nullified if you have the space for the invulnerability to start up. So doing it point blank in a chip CP might not work out for you. Even with space, don't Iron Giant Superman into them with reckless abandon. Why, you ask? Well, thank you, live audience that has been here this entire time, because Raven is a massive JoJo's fan and he must hit that pose like his life depends on it. And unfortunately, it does depend on it because he's serving up a counter hit as well as the obvious other thing during that said pose.
Wait, what?
How minus is it? Great question, but the time for questions is over. Yeah, so it's minus 55, and you will die if they block it or make it whiff. End of story. Okay, the story does have an epilogue that it does do decent job at chipping people out and draining FD, but you better count on a killing. Otherwise, replay the last 20 seconds of this video every time you forget about it. But hey, on the bright side, it's the only way you'll combo far slash on standing normal hit. Amazing. But really though, the utility of this move is just that, utility. It gives a guaranteed knockdown and gives 5 excitement ticks, and despite that pose, you still get glide oki afterwards. Whether it's an awkward air combo or a full 5D air follow-up, you get a knockdown oki and sometimes an ambiguous corner switch that will confuse the both of you, honestly.
What the f?
The chip damage I mentioned before comes from the fact that excitement changes this move's properties as well. So it goes from 3 hits to a max of 7 hits. Great for those last air combo hits that can definitely do some good damage, is what I would say if it was consistent at all. Sure, I had no excitement here, so they barely hang on. Then I do a similar pickup with excitement this time and hellfire, and it doesn't kill. Okay, I'm told this is done from a throw, which scaled the combo heavily at 50%, so my bad at complaining. So let's try it after a command grab. See? Still bad. What's that? Scaled to 60%, you say? I'm also a bitch? I'm not talking to anyone. Okay, yeah, but this bit is also going on too long, and I have a dead audience to clean up, so goodbye. Love you too. The point is that there are just so many factors: excitement, hellfire, initial scaling, guts, and it can be really hard to accurately predict when the super will do more than just knock them down and give Raven a chub. I would suggest not doing it after any kind of throws, because then it has a better chance of killing without a throw. But if you do have another stick of butter to spare, go for Stab Super. Finally, commandment number 4 is fulfilled! Make them watch a whole air combo, 1 super, pose, and then the longest super animations in the game. Huzzah! Now this is an OTG super, which normally would be pretty trash. Since the super locks them in the animation the entire time, they can't get away, they're forced to take as many hits as your excitement allows. OTG hits already do 30% of their regular damage, but you're at the end of your combo where scaling is already super low, plus with the stab super, you're definitely doing 1 damage per hit anyway. So this really has no effect on the damage output if you're really trying to go and get that guts crush or tack on even at least 50 damage. So whether it's from a stray air to air or even from a scaled throw, it's okay. It'll do a grip no matter what. Fun fact, the Stab Super still waits for the last hit to kill them, even if it's very clear that they're dead the entire time. So yeah, Venom has to sit there and watch while I keep stabbing him even though he's very dead. But the Dash Super isn't perfect because if you space it wrong, you could just whiff entirely, or worse yet, do it too late or too far away and they can hit the ground before you and punish you. It's not always a bad thing, especially if you are just planning on churning out the next super anyway. It is hard to miss though, considering the hitbox is huge and can hit behind as well. Even if you do miss or think you will, meter can solve that for you. I'm a genius. You're a speeding bullet, so why not stop and give them a yoink or a sploink for that matter.
I knew it!
And here's a dumb setup from me to you for the road. Brings you back to Robokai horsey cross-ups. Except here you use 100 meter and Robokai he only used 10%, so it's... Yeah. And using meter for the grounded one usually just looks like this in case you're afraid of missing the stab super. Boring, but you know, can net you the win. And net wins you shall, especially if you use instant kill. Which is a thing I would say if it was common at all.
Come on, man.
I mentioned how you can combo into it with command grab pretty easily, and this really should be only used if you get a stun or have meter to cancel if they don't mash out. Again, last round of the match, no health remaining. You have to have 50, maybe 100 meter. It's not going to happen, really. It is a strike, not a grab. Plus, it's invincible, so, you know, use responsibility or risk having no meter and looking like a scrub in the process. With that, I think all the commandments are fulfilled. And that's the news. This is Mr. New Raven filling in for Mr. New Raven. Alright, thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm back on my New Vegas grind. This is the bread and butter section, so if you skipped here, there's no joke this time. You just win. Enjoy. Raven was fun to play, honestly. Pretty easy to pick up and use effectively, I will say. Definitely not diminishing Salty Sean's top 8 run at CEO. No, just good character, good guy. Love you. Better than top 24, am I right? I mean, give a character 2 projectile wire Cs and a literal fly at them tool that loops Oki on itself. It's pretty simple if you know the game mechanics already, like of course I do, 2,000 hours. I had a little trouble with the fast fall scratch stuff, but it really came down to the glide cancels, since it was a little bit awkward to learn. Plus, regular glide being so strong as it was, I didn't really feel the need to do the glide cancels, but of course, they're going to help your play majorly. I'm not sure how many BMBs I have listed here. Way less than Robokai, since Plus R is infinitely a denser game, with more situations and bullshits to manage. But so is Raven with his unique meter management and how it can change his specials, so I guess pretty similar in that regard. Heat, meter, excitement, meter, sure. Luckily it turns into, you know, how many more hits or damage I get most of the time, so, you know, or maybe a startup is faster now and then, so it doesn't really make it that bad. Mostly just positives compared to Robokai. It's not like he gets too excited and like pops like Robokai would. That'd be I don't know what animation that would look like. I don't want to know. Definitely the first character that I didn't enjoy his 6P due to its many downsides, but at least it worked when I used it right. Kind of reminded me of Robokai's because it was not the same kind of anti-air angle, but at least his like knockdown, so I used it for something. Could be worse. Order Souls is... Oh boy, we'll get to Order Souls. Vote for your next Xrd mini main that I should cover. Link in description. Should put that at the front. Also join my Discord if you want to play games and learn from our wealth of brain-rotted character specialists, especially if you complain you can't find matches and you get your ass kicked too often. Come join the Discord. You definitely need feedback and a friendly atmosphere to learn, so feel free to hop in. It's the best way to do so. I hope you enjoyed learning about the 4 commandments of Ravikism. I'm sure his moans will forever ring in your head, and hopefully you hear the Markiplier E meme when you fight him. Sorry for those who wanted to see him from the Overture game, but I mean, look, that trip was just way too strong to have in the Xrd. They had to cut it. Click here to see another character broken down. Subscribe for the next one, or become a member and see my funny friend slot playlist. Thank you for watching. Play Guilty Gear. It's a good game.
It's not over yet.